Maximus Analysis here for April 27th, 2016 at the close. And we will start off with the ES on the daily time frame. And you can see that we had FOMC today and it ping-ponged between the levels that I posted. I've been posting them for the last 3 days because guess what? It hasn't been moving. So again, when it doesn't move, I'm not going to adjust to certain things within my calculations because it just isn't moving at all. So we need to hold the levels. Now we had 2082 and we had 2093.50. Again, you can look on my Twitter feed to know that I'm not BSing you. It went up to 2094 and rolled over a little bit into the close. But again, a hold of this 2082, and it continues to the upside. Again, we'll continue to just look at previous pivot points. So you can see this 2070 is a significant level based on these highs, but we will also just make sure that we're looking to not be overly bearish until they break below the low of 2058.50, and that is last week's low. So we will try not to again, price is ruling things right now, and I am looking at a couple things on the weekly, which I'll show you right now, that again, I just want to see if they're going to finish with some type of volume. You can see that this volume is very, very light. I don't know where they're going to close this candle. And we just got to kind of treat it as such. It's still an open candle. Can't get overly aggressive to one side or the other. It's been a hell of a run from this February. So with that being said, if this was a 5-minute chart, would you be going long right now? And if the answer is no, then the same type of deal needs to come in when you're looking at a higher time frame. Because if I didn't tell you this was a weekly chart and I told you this is a 5-minute chart, you'd say I'll wait for a pullback to get in. Or if I said you trade a breakout, you said I have to break up over here, and I said where you put your stop. And most of the time with breakout traders, they're not going to put their stop below here. So again, using a smaller time frame to give you that same perspective, but still using the same type of technical analysis to say a chart is a chart is a chart. And this weekly is not something that you should go long in. Just look at what individual names are setting up properly. But if you're looking to go short or long here, you kind of missed the boat, but that's fine. Again, we have our bear market trend line that is holding up, and we still have held these previous week's lows. So we're going to let price determine how we're looking at things. Again, this is very sideways action, but that doesn't mean that it goes down. The NQ took a little beating again, just because of I think well, you had a couple things. You had Amazon, Apple, Chipotle, Twitter, and U.S. Steel yesterday. So there was a lot of movement in regards to that, and we're seeing some movement right now. And again, it's testing that 200-day moving average, and we had a level of 43.89.50 that we wanted to hold, and they held it. So it got very close, 69.50, and it held. So we just want to see what type of volume they come with tomorrow. Again, if they could clear above the 44.89.50 area, that would be something nice. Again, we will still continue to want them to hold this level that I left this mark in, because this is the previous high. So they're still giving pivots. It's not the best type of movement because, again, it starts to grind back into previous highs, meaning that they layered against this one, never got back above, and then rolled back below this one. But we want to see what type of volume they come with if they're going to shoot this above with some type of really strong volume. So we'll continue to watch that. The YM, we'll look at 1750, 1770, 750 is the levels that we need to see. Again, you can see they're just dancing sideways on this midpoint of the chop from 2014. So you just continue to watch that, but you can't say that this is bearish in any way, shape, or form until they start to at least break something on a higher time frame. Going into that, we see that we have crude. Crude made a pop up above this 200-day moving average. And if I had some type of targets, I would look for 46.12, 46.47, and I would not want them to get back below this region right here. Okay, just again, same type of deal that we want. It came back in, but they gave us higher lows, and we just want them to continue to the upside. So we'll continue to watch that, but just be aware on the weekly time frame that we do have this going on here, and they could blast right through it. I didn't say that it was going to stop them, but just be aware that it's happening. Okay, and again, that 46.12 area, I'm actually going to see if I could put this right here. Hold on. 4612 is, hold on, let me get this extra one out. 4612, let me just visually have it here, and you could say that it's right around here, give or take 10 ticks. So you see it was the last time that they came up and broke down below, and they held that area. Let me see if I can get it. Hold on, let me see if I can actually go in there and yep, and put it exactly where it needs to be. And you could see that that was near the lows that they came up against, coming down from this weekly that they ricocheted off of, actually. So we'll continue to watch it. You see it's kind of a sideways breakdown point as well for the breakout, so we'll continue to watch that area as well. Let's look at a couple of the equity names. We'll go back on the daily time frame, and we'll start with Priceline. So Priceline, again, on the daily time frame, looked pretty good. It was actually one of the names I was like, wow, you know, of all the action that we had today, this one is continuing to move very well. So again, we want to hold of 1314.50, and we want to look at this weekly time frame as well to say, okay, what are they giving us in regards to volume? Okay, well, how are they going to finish up this week? Again, I think that they can easily get up to 1400, but they just have to clear some stuff, and we want to see some type of volume as well. So we'll kind of go from there. It almost feels like this was a complete anomaly, this V bottom right here, because you could see that, you know, they got, you know, it's kind of them going up here and have this going on right here. So they're kind of grinding sideways, and this has been a hard weekly chart to play, but again, the bulls are still in control. So unless they break down, come up and test again, or they break up and test again, we'll see how they continue with this price movement. Now Amazon, I think we have earnings next couple days. I think it's probably tomorrow, actually. I think it is the 28th, and we'll just kind of see where they go. That's all I want to say regarding that, because again, it's really important in regards to this weekly chart, if they're going to increase the volume and where they're going to go into Friday. So we're going to know very quickly which side of the fence they're in, because if this volume stays light or if they pop it back up, we'll continue to watch. But again, 6 bars down, 10 bars up. I'm more gearing towards weakness, but earnings can be a crapshoot at times. Let's look at Netflix, and you could see Netflix. You can see they're continuing to the downside. Again, I wouldn't try to step in front of this train, because some people might try to pick a bottom, but guess what? The weekly is showing you that they still have a lot more potential to come down to this 80, 50, 81 area, which is previous lows. So this was the earnings, but this is, to me, is a weak pattern. If I know there's some people looking at a head and shoulders. This is a pretty high damn shoulder, but who cares? Again, I'm not looking more at this. I'm looking at this lower high. And last but not least, I do want to look at the IWM, because this did come up actually on a discussion that I was having at Stockaholics.net. And I was looking at this, and a lot of people were saying, as far as the small caps are really leading things, and I was kind of not sure, because I was looking more on the weekly time frame, and I'll show you what I was thinking about. I was thinking that they came and tested this area, which they broke down to, and now they're coming to test it again. The volume has been continuing to the downside, so again, besides this, they haven't broken a low, so again, that's a good sign regarding a weekly low. But I really want to see how they close this bar, and what happens with next week, being that, you know, if I take a lot of this stuff out, right, the other charts had the other charts had a bullish type of, so if you look at this weekly, right, you can see that it came sideways, flag, broke back down, and came back up to that same area. If we went to an SPY, you know, you can't treat all things the same, because you could say that this one, it's still in a range, but they held these lows versus breaking back down below it, then coming back and retesting this type of area. And you can look at it on the QQQ as well for the weekly. These patterns have to not be treated the same, because you could see from the way that this is the QQQ weekly. You can see how it came down, came back in, came and tested this area again, and came back up. This pattern has to still be treated differently, in my personal opinion, than this one, because they went sideways, broke down, and now they're testing this resistance level. And with the other indexes, they were way up in this region. So just be a little bit cautious in regards to that, and we'll continue to see what happens for the end of this week. It seems to be a critical week going on. Again, we got over the FOMC, got over the EIA report, and again, until they break some significant lows on some levels that we still have to say the bulls have control. So again, we want to see them hold this 2082 area on the ES, and again, we'll continue to look at it. Take care.